Hi, everyone. So I'm going to make this short and sweet. I am going to do lives again to kind of review a book. I already did Radical Acceptance. If you missed that and want to see that, it is now all 12 chapters are on my YouTube channel for my business, which is Best Self, Best Health. You can look that up on YouTube, or you can try and get to it through either this page or my business page. It's really difficult to find because I post a whole bunch of stuff. But if you're interested in that, the easiest place to find it is YouTube. I will post my new reviews also on YouTube after they're live. So I do them live and then I have to process them. So I wanted to share that I am going to do Dr. Dan Siegel's book, Mindsight, which I'm super stoked about because I use most of his work in my coaching and in my personal life. I have even taken his interpersonal neurobiology course, which was a 6-month course, and was fantastic. So I'm super excited to go through this book chapter by chapter and share my thoughts with all of you. I look forward to any questions, discussions, etc. that might spawn. You can feel free to post below this on my personal page or on my business page, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please post and I will reply because I love discussion-based things. I'm going to introduce Mindsight with just his introduction. So if you want to grab the book and read along, I will go. Mostly, I will do a chapter a week if I can. And he does say at the end of his introduction that part 1 of the book is the theory and science behind everything. And part 2 are the skills and practice. So it's going to be kind of fun. So I'm not sure how fast or slow it'll be, or if I have any family emergencies, which keep coming up, that might delay me. But the plan, at least, and that I will stick to as much as possible, is 1 chapter a week. And I usually do those on Mondays. I try to do those in the morning, but today got away from me, so I wanted to do it right now. Okay, so what the heck is Mindsight? I would say that Mindsight is kind of a combination of the things you hear in popular culture now about mindfulness and meditation and learning how to stay present and really look at our own inner workings and how we can respond to them. He says that Mindsight is the ability to recognize the patterns of the mind that are getting in the way of life. And it's really a focused attention, right? Mindfulness that allows us to be aware of what's going on. And that awareness of the internal workings of our mind, I'm reading from my notes. As you know, I take copious notes when I read these books. And recognize and get past the old patterns that are ingrained as automatic reactions. So if you are a frustrated parent, or any type of parent really, or you've had difficult things in the past, or you find yourself sometimes thinking, oh my gosh, why did I even react like that? It was crazy. It just happened. It basically is the ability to get behind what is causing that and learn how to deal with that in a better manner. So he calls this we learn to name and tame our emotions. He uses that example of, instead of being able to say, I am sad, it's I feel sad. And the little nuances that we learn are really important. And I apologize that if you hear my dogs whining in the background, but otherwise they'd be barking all over me. So these things are at the height of social emotional intelligence. And I know that that is a big thing that has gotten lots of press and is all over our culture right now. he says that, in fact, the mental and emotional changes we're able to make actually cause physical changes in the brain. And this has been proven. And I've talked about this, if you know me, because I love neuroscience. So the whole art of growth mindset and rewiring the brain, and that we can actually structurally change and see those changes in the brain. We've only been able to detect that, I would say, maybe in the last 10 years. And it's a really exciting kind of shift in the thinking. So this is where Mindsight comes in. We need certain experiences to unlock the capacity of Mindsight, is what he says. And we can direct our thoughts and feelings instead of being driven by them. And I say, woohoo! Don't we all want that? 100%. He says, our ability to look within and perceive the mind and to reflect on our experience will allow us to achieve an internal equilibrium and balance between the body and mind. And really, when we achieve that balance, that is ultimately the biggest thing we can do for our health. That is the connection between our body, our mind, and how we're acting towards others. It will improve all your relationships, both with yourself and with others, whether that be at a workplace or friends or family, or children, or if you're a teacher. It changes and improves all of those relationships. And he basically goes through and in the introduction says, this whole concept of Mindsight is based on 3 overlying principles. So I will share those with you. The first principle is that Mindsight can be cultivated through very practical steps. In other words, it's a learnable skill. So he's going to teach us how we can learn this skill and develop this skill and improve this skill. And he does say that each chapter explores these skills, and he will go from basics to the advanced, which is super exciting, and I can't wait to share with all of you. And do it myself, because I think that's something that I strive for, and I'll talk more about it as it comes up. The second thing and principle that he bases Mindsight on is that when we develop the skill of Mindsight, we actually physically change the brain. And I just talked a little bit about that. It reshapes the structure of the brain through new pathways. It will increase resilience, empathy, and compassion. And my, oh my, I think I've been saying for many years now that that's what this world needs most. So I'm all for it. The third principle is well-being emerges when we can create connections in our lives. So when we learn to use Mindsight to achieve integration, and Dan Siegel is big on integration, and I'm sure he will explain it more in detail. In the introduction, he says a little bit about it. He says, integration is where we take separate elements and link them together into a working whole. Integration can occur within yourself. So you might be integrating different parts of the brain, left and right brain. You can also link to people so that you have open communication while respecting and having compassion for them. It allows you to be a better communicator, a better mentor, a better support for people, because you're able to integrate them without overlapping. So there's like good use of boundaries and things of that nature. It allows us to be flexible and free instead of chaotic or rigid. And he talks about those a lot in his other books. If you've read any of his work, Whole Brain Child or No Drama Discipline, he talks a lot about the brain being stuck in these 2 places. Either the chaotic, where you see kind of this explosive or unruly kind of place, or the really one mind, really dull, really has to do A, B, and C, and that's it all the time. And we want flexibility and not to get stuck in chaos or rigidity. He said that mindsight is not something that you have or don't have. It is developed with time, effort, and practice. And so that's amazing news for all of us that we can all do that. And he does actually talk a little bit about how mindsight can start in childhood if you are a very attuned caregiver, by sharing with children kind of a mirror into their own reality and really seeing them where they are and reflecting that back to them. You can start mindset really young, but because it's a developed skill, he also mentions that we can get over whatever our past is and that we can start at any time in our life to really develop this skill. And he has a story of a man who's in his 90s who developed this skill and it changed his life. So the great news is this sounds like a transformational book that if we look at, we can really make a difference not only in our lives, but in the lives of all of those we touch. So that's a big thing for me. And I love his work, so I'm super excited to do these lives. I will aim for Monday mornings on my business page. I will post if anything comes up and I get delayed, but I'm hoping to do them Mondays. So next Monday will be chapter 1 of Mindsight. He says it's never too late to develop the skills of Mindsight. We can continue to develop the skills that are at the heart of our well-being, and it's never too late. And we really can overcome some of those things that might be popping up as triggers and we don't realize, or we do realize and we have no idea how to rewire our brain to stop doing it. So I'm super excited to share this with you. And you can follow on my page, of course. You can follow my business page, or I will also post on my business YouTube so that you could watch them all there when they're available. So until next week, I shall see you then. Mindsight, Dr. Dan Siegel. Super excited. If you think you're going to read along or at least watch and hear what I have to say, you can click a like or you can give me a response in the comments, and I look forward to sharing with all of you. Have a great week.